expecting Saudi Arabia to come out, dominate that matchup, but England, I believe they shut them out. They dominated that first game, ended up getting the draw, and that set the tone for Group A. And we saw so many matchups where we're thinking, okay, surely this is going to be one-sided, but they end up splitting.
I think the thing for me is that the Netherlands, like the huge surprise how well they've been playing and being able to maintain the pace that they did throughout the whole round robin, has me looking at Group B a lot differently than what I was at the start of the tournament. I think specifically the United States of America might have a shot here in this Group B where nobody else is going to give them that shot.
We got a chance.
We got a chance.
Well, break that down for me, though. You're telling me that there's some stuff to watch out for in Group B that you're aware of now, thanks to Group A. What would those elements be?
I think the main thing is just the chaos of like the stage down there and facing everybody. It's just a different vibe, a different environment for a lot of the players. You know, they have a lot of LAN experience, but not like this. This is definitely a little different. And best of twos is like, you know, we've talked about it on the desk. Like a lot of teams need time to start gelling, to start getting a team downloaded. And when you don't have that time, it just creates a lot of chaos in the format.
And so I think, you know, after watching Group A play out, I put a decent chunk of stock in teams like Brazil and Chile. I was like, hey, you know, wild card, you know, upset. But now I'm like, no, those guys play to win. And playing to win is very good in best of two. So I like their chances a lot more after I've seen round A play out.
All of this is going to color our interpretations of Group B as we kick it off. But to start things, let's bring out our teams and head down to the stage with Veracity.
That is right. Group A is done and dusted. We've seen overtimes, we've seen upsets, and we've seen competition aplenty. But it is finally time for us to introduce our Group B teams. First up, we have Team Argentina. Representing them, we have AJG, Unbroken, Misery, and Paquita. The force to be reckoned with, it is France. With Zen, Batira, Monkey Moon, and Farah, the crowd are loving this team. Welcome to the stage, Morocco. Itachi, Nas, Charlie, Safi, and Yeka 2K. Magic Bear, Cheese, Torment, and Raw Bread. Our next team is Turquia. With Zigot, Lorelei, JZM, and Anek. Welcome to Chile! Representing the flag, it is Razebull, Davitrox, Pan, and Groval. Portugal! Rafa, Beyond, Vadi, and Order. Good luck and have fun. The final team from Group B, it is Brazil. Jan, Lost, Drafino, and STL. Boy, oh boy, what a group this is. have had the opportunity to tune in and check out how all of our Group A teams did. Have they used this opportunity to their benefit to max and relax? Or is pressure going to get the better of them? What do we think, Des? Who's going to rise to the top?
Who will indeed? I just saw 8 pumped-up teams enter that stage, and they're all looking equally strong from here before we get in the game. But I know that you guys have lots of experiences with these teams, these players as individuals, and I'd like to know, taking a look at their faces as they walked into the arena, Jorby, which team looked most ready?
I gotta say, I love Raze Bull's energy coming in for Chile, and I got a chance to handshake with Raze Bull a little earlier today. Firm handshake. I have to say that bodes well for Chile.
Oh, that does. Uncommon in the gaming sphere.
Authoritative. But I look at, we just saw France there for a second, and Pharaoh rightfully so admiring his visage behind him. And they were a team that was like, hey, we're out here and anything less than a title is completely unacceptable. France is well aware that they are the region that is currently at the top of the Rocket League sphere. And they say, hey, this should be ours, and we're going to make it ours. And that's a team that doesn't speak of, we're going to come in here and just, for lack of a better term, laissez-faire,
I think they want that target on their back, too. I think they enjoy that kind of heat and that kind of attention on them because, it's fine. You want to come after the best, we are the best. That's exactly the kind of pride and the attitude that France always has.
Yeah.
Yeah, James Bond, same question to you. Taking a look at these teams here, well, we got some players in Chile here. Who would stand out to you?
For me, Raze Bull, 100%. Raze Bull, we've seen him come over and compete in North America on complexity. He's dominated in South America. He is such a talented player, and I'm really excited that we get to see them right out of the gate. This is a Chile team that I think really is a threat to make top 4, make it into the quarterfinals, and we've seen teams have that synergy, that boost from representing their country. Perhaps this Chile team can really make some fireworks happen.
Yeah, he really seems excited. I think a Raze Bull that's feeling good is dangerous. It's been a while since we've seen him on land. Complexity moved back to South America. They met a lot of competition in RLCS, and so weren't able to make those lands. And Raze Bull's one of the most electric land players that we have ever seen. The fact that we've been missing him for a while, and now we have him for the FIFA World Cup, I think is something special. And I agree with you, James. I think Chile are absolutely a threat to take it. But I can't talk about this group without talking about Brazil. And Brazil are, kind of on a downswing a little lately. But Yan is still Yan. Lost is still lost. Drufo is still Drufo. Dr. Ufi, as Jordan would call him. And all the South American teams in this group, I think, is just going to make it even more chaotic.
Oh, yeah. But there's so many interesting teams to look at, especially Morocco. Morocco, we see all these French teams have a sprinkling of Moroccans in there, and they're all so good. But now we get to see them all playing together, which I am really excited about at Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, Morocco is a team that a lot of people coming into this tournament rated very highly. And that being said, it's nice to say that, they're going to do well. It's another thing for them to go out there and actually do it. I mean, you can look at teams like France and be like, oh, okay, they're definitely going to
It's a team that on paper should be excellent.
Yeah, but the on-paper stuff, as we've learned, is rarely the way we want it to go.
That's true. And you know what, Chiefs? I'm glad you brought up paper. Because paper don't mean anything when you're talking about USA and who's representing this country. Reddles, Magic Bear, and Cheese. Now look, Spaceman and Corelli are not here to pump these guys up, but do you know how many Game 5s, how many close nail biters that they've had to cast go?
There's no Game 5s in this format, though, so what's going to happen?
That's my point, James, is that they always take the lead in those series, and then it ends up sneaking back up, and I'm just saying, best of twos.
Maybe they were built for this format.
If Netherlands can be at the top after the first round of round robin, US of A, the whole group is open.
It's over.
It's open.
That's bold. I don't hate it, but it's bold.
There they are now. That's USA.
That's right.
I'm so excited.
That's Reynolds, the new Captain America.
Wow.
Too early, Jordy. Too early.
Okay, let's pass the torch. It's official.
Okay.
Okay. Don't be too
I didn't hear about that official torch pass, but I'll trust you on that. But no, I really am excited to see how this group shapes up, especially after all the chaos in Group A. I think Group B, it really is going to be wide open. And all eyes are going to be on Team France. You know, Saudi Arabia was the group favorite. Team France, not only the group favorite, but in my opinion, the tournament favorite to win this whole thing. So we're going to really get a good idea of how these other teams in Group B stack up to France and, you know, get a sense of, does this environment really lend itself to upsets? Will France dominate or will they not?
We get Zen and Monkey Moon on the same team.
Yeah, that's so cool to
Just
see.
absolutely ridiculous achieves.
And apart from, you know, all your superstars, Group B has some complete wild cards.
Yeah.
No idea what we're going to get from teams out of like Portugal or Turkey. And we're kind of like, yo, you've been on the outside of looking in at the various regions of the RLCS that you play in, and you try and look at what they've done. It's like, okay, they've played a bunch of like small scale like community tournaments, but you come out here, you get a shot to represent your country, you get to play against literally the best players in the world. Okay, show us what you can do. You have nothing to lose.
Yeah, taking a look now at Argentina, there's so many teams here that were assembled on behalf of their nation, and the way they each came together, a little bit different for each team. Taking a look at Argentina, though, what can you tell me about these players, Jorby?
Well, the centerpiece of this team is absolutely AJG. You know, AJG, I think the last prominent memory that a lot of fans have of him is him missing the game-winning shot against Zen's Vitality in the upper bracket at LAN, where they would have knocked them down into lowers
with Raze Bull.
Exactly.
Raze
Raze Bull AJG, an absolutely legendary combo in North America, and he kind of fell off. And then AJG kind of disappeared for a little bit, and he just popped out of the woodwork like a jack-in-the-box, and here he is. I'm very excited to see him play.
I'm so glad he was locked in and didn't have to hear, like, you know, just any sort of
Yeah,
stressful
thanks for
stuff
reminding
before
me of that, Jorby.
I don't know how much he would have understood.
But for his teammates, he's got Unbroken and Misery. Misery's played on True Neutral in RLCS, and he's kind of been on the cusp of breaking out in the South American region. Up-and-coming player, young kid, so a lot to prove in that sphere. Unbroken's played for a few seasons now in the RLCS, and he's been solid but not exceptional. So earning a spot to play for your country is pretty big for him.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this carries over into the greater Rocket League season, into the community. Will this be a new format, this nation format, that people really are excited about, James Bott?
I think so. I think already it's proven to be quite entertaining. It's excellent, I think, you know, to have a format that's a breath of fresh air. And also, I think one thing I was going to say, too, is we were looking at Argentina, looking at Brazil. These South American teams, we've seen it before, even when they were the new region into the RLCS, they came out and played fearless. And I think, you know, with the way this format is, those two quick games, that fearless play style is going to put you at an advantage if that is how you play day in, day out on LAN, online. It's going to be helpful for him.
The entire region is just so passionate. You know, I'll never forget South America's burst onto the scene back in Season 7, and they just took it to teams where nobody was expecting it. They challenged every single ball. They were flying at supersonic, and people were like, oh, these guys aren't scared at all. And just to, you know, really emphasize what you were talking about, James, South America never really let their foot off the gas.
Yeah,
they only got better.
It's that confidence. And we've seen the confidence pay off so much in Group A. So we'll see if it's going to be the same in Group B. Excited to see it.
Well, what could you guys tell me about the age range of these players? Because just as we're panning over these teams, I feel like we're seeing younger, we're seeing older players, especially after looking at Group A, which seemed pretty consistent across the board. But, you know, nobody's face really tells the whole story, Jorby.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in the early days of Rocket League, when everything was kind of new and the skill ceiling wasn't as high as it is now, like those players kind of got overtaken pretty quickly. So you saw older players kind of get phased out early. But guys like Monkey Moon, who have been around since really the start of the 2020s and has been a top player for 4 years, which was previously unheard of in Rocket League. And you see a lot of players like Monkey Moon hang on to that. You do see new players come up like Zen, who really was kind of in and then out and then back in his journey. He has one of the most interesting journeys in all of Rocket League, to be honest with you, to becoming known as the greatest player in the game, which Monkey Moon took back from him. But, you know, that's the fun part about them playing together, though. It's like 1A and 1B.
Oh, yeah. And then, you know, also can't forget about Vatira as well, that young queso team that busted onto the scene. And
Feels
really,
like forever ago,
Yeah,
doesn't
it does. But he's still quite young as well. But you do have those veterans sprinkled in as well. You know, but
Your veterans are like 20 years old.
Yeah, 22.
Yeah.
22 is the veteran age usually. But then you do have players like Jay Naps, got a little more seasoned.
24.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little extra seasoning. Yeah, just a couple of years.
You know what? He's still pretty good for 24.
He's pretty good for
I hear-
24.
another guy that's getting up there in age that I still think is pretty good is Reddles, and he is actually here. And
He is here.
I'm telling you, man, this USA team, I love the passion. I love this team. We haven't talked a lot about them. I'm just saying.
But now the fact you've hyped him up so much means
What do you
it's,
mean so much? I barely got started.
that's the problem.
He's locked and loaded, man.
You're-
Jordan, we got
that's
some
right.
runway. You
You're
want to hit
setting the
people with
bar
some
real
USA
high.
facts.
I mean,
brother.
to be honest, they're going to have a huge test right out of the gate. They're playing Morocco, round 1, and I saw a tweet from, I think it was from the FIFA E account, with Johnny Boy ranking all the teams.
Yeah.
And he's not alone when you're ranking Morocco up there near, at S tier, or even if you put them in high A tier. This is such a good team. I think they are the favorite in that matchup against Team USA. So if Team USA can get a result, even a draw, I think that is going to be
Huge.
an excellent sign for them moving forward into these next 2 days of the group stage.
Yeah, we've seen how much draw momentum in Group A really helped a lot of those teams at the top. You get some of your hardest opponents out of the way with not a loss, but that's fine, not a win. And then you're free to cruise through the rest of your group here. You think that's likely for these boys?
I'll tell you after the USA match. How's that?
Likely, I'm not so confident
sure.
Morocco.
Maybe,
No, I like Morocco. I think they're a dark horse.
You're like, I
They
gotta
can
go
be
see
good.
first.
But that's exactly what I was talking about. James and I hit on it earlier. They're great on paper. Paper tells a really, really, really
Wait,
good
I
story.
honestly think
What do
that's
you mean
been-
Morocco are great on paper?
They are great on paper.
They're great on the field, too.
Well,
I understand that, but they've never played together. That's my
Yeah,
point.
you can bring superstar players together and it not work out. We've
Yeah.
seen it in many sports, esports. Just because you have 3 great players doesn't mean you have one great team. And I think that's why this event is so special as well. We are getting to see the players who many people think are the best in their nation, who are not necessarily teammates, form up to try to represent their country and claim total victory. So Morocco, I think maybe more than any other team, is the team that people are looking at being like, all right, these players don't play on a team, but if my calculations are correct, they could win it all.
Well, I just love some insight, too, into how these teams came together, how much time they had to prepare and synergize as a trio, especially for Morocco, Jorby.
Yeah, I mean, like for Morocco, definitely needs some of that time to gel together. Zen and Monkey Moon for Team France, they've actually been playing a lot of twos together, so
nice.
they've been developing a lot of that synergy. This team right here, though, they've been a team. On Furia in the regular season, but here at the World Cup representing Brazil, have been the best in Brazil. Have always been the top seed that goes. There was only one time they weren't the top seed coming out of South America. At one point it looked like they could even be the best in the world. I do think they took a step back or two over the last 6 months. But Yan is still Yan.
Yeah, and you can't forget, they came over and gave North America a lot of trouble, too. NRG missed out on some opportunities because they could not beat
I know
Furia.
you felt a lot of pain.
Yeah, that
I
one
remember
still
that. I'll
cuts a
never
little
forget
deep, huh?
that. So, this Furia team now representing Brazil has given me plenty of nightmares because of how good they are. And Yan on land, that's what we love to see. Yan
He's
on
the
land.
man.
He is. So can he bring it, though, when he's representing his country?
Well, with the team that you've seen so many matches from, like Furia, you've seen them trip up, too. What is it that makes them stumble?
It's their full belief, their passion. They ride the highs, but they also ride the lows, and that's kind of emblematic of their country. That's Brazil in a nutshell. Just that passion that I at least identify so much with, and that's part of what made me fall in love with that team so much. And you can see it, especially when they're playing well. Is like that energy hits you, and they're just shouting, and they're feeling it. Like you feel that reverberate through you. It's so infectious. And when you ride in that kind of high and you have that kind of full belief in yourself and you literally are that man, I mean, it just makes those painful moments that much more painful because you do have that belief in yourself.
Yeah, that is hard now. And taking a look at, we're still looking at Turkey over there. No,
For a second, yeah. We're on USA back. We're back to USA.
USA!
Torment's lush.
Jorby.
That's right.
That's our boys.
That's right. You see that guy over there on the
Tell
phone?
me
That's
stories about
Torment.
that guy.
Torment's a legend, right? Absolute legend on the pitch.
World
But the guy
champion.
right next to him, one of the most passionate men in the community, Raw Greg. Raw Greg has been coaching up this Reddles Magic Bear Cheese team for a while. Salute to you, good sir. He is absolute joy to talk to. He loves talking the game of Rocket League. This man is absolutely passionate about the scene, about the sport. Five of these guys were so excited to get the opportunity to represent their country here on the international
Yeah, I think
stage.
passion is the perfect word to describe the Team USA. They actually had to fill in last second due to some situations with the previous invited team for USA. So they got an opportunity late in the game, and they pounced on it. Like, they are just talking with them. I did have an opportunity to talk with them in the player lounge, and they were so honored to be able to represent the USA and so excited about this opportunity. And I hope that fire spreads over here to the stage, honestly.
Well, how does that manifest in them? How have you seen this passion really come to life in them? In
Work
preparation
ethic.
for this?
Absolute work ethic. They are grinders through and through. They believe that we can get better always. Like, they have down moments, they don't get down on themselves. They just go back and they get back to work. And to me, that is just something that is so, like, it's just so, you just want to root for that.
Yeah,
they're so easy to root for, Jay.
I don't live in their comms, but I have had the opportunity through like Gold Rush and Solo Queue, some various events where I've been on LAN with Cheese and with Magic Bear, and they are two of the kindest people. Like, they are so gentle, so kind, and like, I feel like in terms of camaraderie and teamwork, like off the field, like they're just solid dudes. Like, they're not going to get upset. They're not going to have the passive aggressive size. They're going to be putting 100% positive effort into everything that they do, and I think that can put them over the top, especially when you have best of twos.
Oh, that positivity is a great reason to cheer for them, too. You can see teams really get frustrated, fall apart. You wonder if that's what's going on. We don't get an opportunity to listen to all the comms. But if you can support each other through these tough times, like we said, tomorrow, we run these groups back again, start to finish. Every team plays all the other teams once again. So you got to hold on to your mental. You got to hold together as a team. And as we take a look at the schedule here, you got to prepare yourself because this is a marathon. And taking a look at our first matches that we're going to see in Group B, well, it starts with a bit of a pistol.
Yeah, Portugal and Chile. Chile definitely the favorite there again. Portugal, total wild card.
Yeah.
The world is their proverbial oyster in that matchup, and I'm very curious to see what they bring to the table. And of course, you got to close out with definitely the largest amount of fireworks possible, I think. Brazil and France certainly likely.
Those are bangers. Brazil, Morocco, Brazil, France.
I mean, Brazil, France has turned into a real rivalry. Like, those two countries, genuinely in Rocket League, it is a rivalry. Those fan bases and the players.
They've exchanged words.
They do. What I love about it between what was Furia and Vitality and what is now Brazil and France is that there is mutual respect. They respect each other. They leave all the trash talk. They leave all the passion on the field, on the stage, and then respect off of the field and off of the stage. And to me, that's what makes the rivalry turning into something that really is quite special in Rocket League.
Now I'm excited. Is there a team that doesn't do that? Who takes it to the streets, Jorby? I have a new favorite team. Just tell me who they are.
All right. Everyone knows that I love Brazil, but they do that to other teams sometimes. They take it a little too far.
Let's go Brazil. Let's do it.
They respect France because of Zed. Okay, that's why. But
too
other
good.
teams, they're like, no,
fair.
we want to put you in the dirt. But you gotta kind of respect that attitude a little bit. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you swing hard and
bit
they
of
swing
moxie.
back at you. So it's a lot to go into a battle with. And I keep describing these things as battles, these matches. But they are. They're exploding each other. We saw a lot of demos. We saw a lot of interesting strategies kind of come out from our players in Group A. Anything that you guys have a sense of that people can keep in their back pocket, strategy-wise, interest-wise, maybe changing up how they usually play to throw off these teams that have a lot of information on them?
I think take risks. I think, it's like if you're in a situation where, you can either be conservative and try to stay in net to block the shot, or just trust your teammates and go for that mid boost or something like that. Play a little riskier. I'm a fan of that in these situations where people tend to be more nervous, and it does seem like with that added pressure of playing for your country, players are more nervous. And I think that's why we're seeing the results that we have been. So if you can master those nerves, play a little bit riskier, high risk, high reward, I think it'll pay off.
Yeah, let's talk about what they're playing for. Again, let me remind you all of our incredible prize pool. We've got a lot of money on the line here. That's when you see teams who are even at the bottom are still fighting so hard to stay any level up they can get, because big difference in prize money here, $50,000 all the way at the top. Got to be a nice little take home from your trip to Saudi.
Healthy chunk of change for sure. And you can't be disappointed because, you got to go out there and play a heck of a show for a bunch of people who really care about it. And the FIFA World Cup is an awesome opportunity. And to say, hey, we'll pay you for it as well is the nice cherry on top.
Yeah, I think that, the pricing is obviously nice. The players Players want that prizing, right? I think you nailed it, Achieves. You know, the pride, the national pride that a lot of these teams were like, I just want to jump and play in a World Cup for Rocket League. Like, that's amazing. And the fact that we have all those teams that just want to be there to represent their nations, just to get the pride, just to do that for their fans from their countries.
I mean, yeah, Joy said, you know, it's like it's a dream. Wearing this kit, representing your country is a dream that you have since you're a kid. I mean, who doesn't dream of representing their country? So, you know, it is something special.
Yeah.
Well, it's special to represent your country, but there's also a hard aspect to it. We've divided everybody up to represent their nations. That means we've split some established teams. Let's head on over to CJ and check out how our players are feeling. Content piece, I think, about how our players are feeling about facing off against former and current teammates.
Being on the same team as Torment, you know, after all these years, I've competed against him since I was 14. And, you know, finally being on the same side as him, it's a lot of fun.
I'm playing with Atto and Compact. Never played with both of them, just against. Both players have very good potential, so it's pretty cool to have them with you and not against you this time.
So I won my first RLCS regional with Joreus actually, and got a top 3 with my boy. So that's always nice to play with them again. I mean, you also got like chemistry from the past, so that like works as well. When you first start like scrimming again.
My history of Rise kind of speaks for itself. We've won lands together, won regionals. Probably one of my most successful teammates I've played with. And it's nice to, you know, be back in the environment and the boot camps and stuff, being able to talk and play with him like I used to. Archie, I've only started playing with recently on Oxygen. They're both like brothers to me in different ways, and it's nice to have them both together with me. It makes you feel very comfortable.
The synergy is very, very good. We actually did not practice a long time before the event because everyone within the team was focused with their own club. But since we are together, we actually had a boot camp in Clairefontaine. Things clicked as soon as it started.
Every coach has their own little spin on the game. So to hear Torment's POV a little bit, because, you know, I've been with Greg and Kevpert, our 2 coaches, for a couple of years now. So to have, you know, another hand in the playbook, it's nice. Because there are, you know, only so much players that haven't been on the field can see. So it's nice to kind of have his point of view on that.
Everyone is behind the idea of, you know, representing your country. So there is no worry that there's going to be any bad blood or bad feeling. And I think especially with the French community, everyone is kind of close to each other. And, you know, the teams there, after each season, they swap, you know, there is changes. Everyone kind of played with each other. So I think everyone is good friends with everyone pretty much.
Me, Atto, and Compact are really friends before being teammate for the Belgium team. So we have a good mood. It's not that we're discovering each other as a person, as a player. We all know each other for years. So it's easier to build like a synergy or just a friendship.
I think we're all working together. There's no rivalry. On the RLCS pitch, we of course try to beat each other, but we're representing our country here, so I don't think that counts. We all got a separate playstyle. I've been playing this game for 9 years, I think, so I don't think they can easily steal my playstyle.
I may have to keep some of the strats away from Torment. We may have to keep him out of the book a little bit, but it's been good.
I'm not worried about Rice stealing my strats, no, to be honest. I think we work well together and we bounce off each other well, so, you know, we'll be fine. It's difficult to say that we're stealing their strat because Rocket League is not about really strats, but, you know, I'm taking notes.
You know, hearing these players discuss each other like this, I have to wonder, have you heard the players talk about their relationships with each other in such a way before, Jorby?
I mean, you know, Reddles and Torment, you know, they've been on opposing sides so many times, and it's really funny to hear him be like, you know, we're going to keep a couple things close to the chest. I'm like, he's right behind you, bro. I don't know what you're going to hide from.
What are you keeping away, man? You can hear the comms.
But I mean, it's great. Like, you hear players talk about, you know, I've been playing this game for 9 years, and like so many of these players have been around for that long that they have developed those relationships, and you have legends who are coaches now. You have legends that are still playing the game, and teams that have like switched around, and like everyone's kind of played with each other within their own regions. So like you just ended up developing that kind of camaraderie with each other. It becomes easier to gel with new players because, you know, you've kind of been there, done that. You have that experience with those players. So it's really cool to see.
And
really
you know,
fun to hear.
this is the first FIFA World Cup featuring Rocket League. Hopefully, it's not the last. And you know, with all these players, you know, you can't just roster change someone out of your country, right? they're developing friendships, and this hopefully could be, you know, long-term partnership as players representing their country anytime they get the call. You know, I was so happy to see this opportunity for players to represent their nation, but now they're here. They're hopefully going to be able to play with each other for years to come. So this is going to be really fun to watch those friendships develop, but also how they play together, just getting to see that develop as well.
That's what I appreciate about you, James. That's a very long view, and that's good. That's good.
Sometimes you got to take that far, you know, look past the short term.
That's great.
Well, there's a long future ahead for Rocket League, and especially as you're talking about some of these new players that we're seeing joining these teams, showing up, starting to make a name for themselves at a huge tournament like this. How do they integrate into the new community, and how does Rocket League welcome new top-tier players?
It depends on the region. I mean, like, you look at France, and France kind of built their own ecosystem of players. They helped develop new talent, and that's why we see some new crack French kid come out of nowhere and dominate everybody. There's going to be another one coming soon. Just wait.
Just wait.
Like, certain communities just have that kind of camaraderie, and you even see that in expansion regions like South America that kind of have that same thing. Everyone's kind of in it together, and there's, you know, obviously, like, there's always going to be people you don't like. There's always going to be people you don't really gel with, but I do think it's kind of region dependent on, you know, how much of a community you do form. And like some of the regions that have seen a lot of success, or countries like France, I mean, I think you see the benefit of that kind of collective mentality.
It definitely seems like it's different culturally, because you do see that in France. They're all so tight together. They're hosting LANs, competing against one another. And then, you know, I've seen other countries, other regions where they'll strategically not play and strategically not develop those up-and-comers so that they can keep their spot at the top of the food chain. So it's interesting to see it, but, you know, I think, you know, how France as a nation approaches Rocket League and how their community is developed really lends itself well to something like this. And now we'll see if they shine. This is their opportunity. This is their platform. We know their professional teams in RLCS can do well, but how will they do with that extra pressure of representing their nation?
Well, I'm glad to hear that the competitive community is so welcoming. I know you as talent really set that trend. And I know we've got CJ down on the floor to talk to some other players, these from Team Morocco.
I'm here with Sathu, coach of Morocco. Definitely for the first time we've spoken today. What are the excitement levels coming into this event for you?
Yeah, no, I'm incredibly excited. It's just a whole different vibe from what I usually do, so it's new experience, so it's always exciting.
Obviously coaching Morocco, you're not here with the G2 boys that you used to. How different is that for you here at the FIFA World Cup?
It's definitely different. They have their own tendencies that my guys don't, and they play very differently. They see the game differently. Europeans just play a naturally different Rocket League game, but they still do a lot of good things that my guys do as well. So it's not like it's a foreign language, but it's a little different.
And obviously with this format, with the group stage, playing everyone twice, how much is today, I guess, just feeling out the other teams and adjusting for tomorrow?
I'd say that's pretty much exactly what it is. Today is the feeler. Tomorrow is like actually reviewing and then going at them again and probably having the true matchup. So it's just feel, get as many points as you can, and set yourself up for a good position tomorrow.
And the biggest talking point, you guys taking on Team France, you got Brazil obviously as well. I mean, how much have you guys been focusing on those two?
They were always going to be the focus in this group. We've had little prep time, so we don't have too much footage on them yet, but today will help us with that. So we'll have a better idea of kind of what we need to focus on against them for tomorrow.
And the kits look good too. You're looking pretty sharp in the red and green.
Yeah, I mean, red and green all the way, baby. Let's get it.
Awesome. Well, let's go Morocco. Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm so glad CJ said it to him, because I don't know how to break it to Netherlands. This might be my actually new favorite kid. They look so good. What do you guys think?
All I'm saying is genius move from Team USA to put Sathu in there as the sleeper agent to take down Morocco.
I don't think so. He's not like that. You know, it is one of those things of like, what is this polar bear doing in Texas kind of thing? But
that's an odd place for a polar bear to be.
Exactly.
But, you know, Sathu is like very well respected in the community, a player once himself, and a phenomenal coach. Like, I talked with him several times about about the way he coaches, and I think the way that he coaches is actually very good to, you know, he doesn't overanalyze you. He doesn't overanalyze his players. He's like, you know what, you do this, and this well, do this differently, and you're good. And I think having that kind of direction helps actually get your team where you want them to be. It helps your team believe in you. Because I think that's the hardest part for coaches in general in Rocket League.
Oh, yeah.
Is
It's so
actually getting
easy
your
to
players to
nitpick,
respect
man.
you.
Yeah.
It's been the hardest thing for a lot of coaches. Sathu has transcended that, and he's earned that respect. Case in point, Morocco were like, come coach us, which is crazy to me. I mean, respect to you, Sathu.
Oh,
And Morocco.
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
he's available? Hey, come on.
We take it.
Well, I think we've evenly gassed up all the teams now, so we can reduce our focus to the two teams that we're going to see starting off Group B. It's going to be a match between Portugal and Chile, so let's check out these two teams a little bit closer. I'd love to know, Achieves, exactly what you know about Portugal, about Chile.
So Portugal is made up of 3 players who've placed, again, sort of like Turkey, some relatively small-scale community tournaments. One guy's been like EU bubble player, like, but not like making Swiss stage or anything like that. But they make, you know, top 128s, the occasional top 64. So they're familiar with competition. It's a matter of scale for Portugal here, you know. So they're, I hate to say it, likely, you know, going to be in the same spot as like Australia or, you know, South Africa found themselves
That's
earlier.
projected.
I think you're giving a little disrespect to Australia there.
I can give a little disrespect to where I want. They're at the bottom of the group.
They haven't won a game yet.
Yeah.
So
I get it.
So
But-
I'm with the Chiefs here. I think Portugal has a lot to prove.
Yes.
A lot to prove. And Chile, I think they have the star power of Raise Bull. And when you think about aggression and playing fearlessly, to me, one of the players that pops up first in my mind is Raise Bull. He's like literally a bull in a china shop when you put him out there on the field. He is so dangerous anywhere. If he's got boost, he's on the wall, coming off the ceiling. Any mechanic that you can think of, he can pull off. He is the threat. He is the player to watch on the pitch.
That's El Toro, man. He is absolutely electric to watch. But, you know, I think the fun part about Chile is that it's not just a one-man army over here. They got 2 really solid players. I'm especially excited to see Misery Achieves.
That's Argentina.
Oh, Argentina, sorry, not yet. Getting it mixed up in my head there.
You may be thinking of Davitrox, though.
I'm excited to see Pan on land.
One thing that is
Pan on
interesting
land.
is that we have a keyboard player.
Yes.
Not
Full
keyboard and mouse, just keyboard.
Full
Davitrox
keyboard.
just plays with the
Yeah.
keyboard. Got 2 hands on it. I've seen players do that before. Yummy Cheese Man actually plays that way as well. So I have seen it, and that's Pan right
Yeah,
there.
there we go.
Repping the kit. Pan, if you've been following him on Twitter, on X, he is so pumped to be here. He's so pumped to be able to represent his country, and I love seeing that.
There's been so many times in South America where Pan has gotten close to qualifying for land. Like, he has gone through so many different teams, and now he finally
Plays a lot of top 8s.
Yeah, he gets to represent Chile now on the international stage. Such a huge moment for him. And Davitrox, who has also gotten that close with Pan.
Well, let's take a closer look at Team Chile.
I'm Pan, a Rocket League player from Chile. I think it's such a dream for everyone. And we talked about this like maybe 4 years ago with Raiseball and Davitrox, and we said like it would be crazy if there exists alone, and which you have to represent your country against the best players in the world. And now we're here, so it's like a dream coming true. I'm just grateful for the opportunity. I think that I deserve it because I worked so hard for many years to get into here. I think this is the time where I need to show the world what am I supposed to do. I think we can be one of the best countries in the world in this tournament, so we need to show that up.
So many players coming here with the intention to show their stuff, to show what their nation can field in the field of Rocket League. Chile, we talked a lot about what an incredible team they have built for this.
Yeah, show a little love, Davitrox.
Yeah, the national pride's there. And also, I hope we get more of the heart rate monitor graphs. I want to see that, especially in this matchup. You've got Portugal, the underdogs here, going up against
Look at
Chile.
them hyping them up.
And I am curious to see what the chat votes. Like, are they?
How much respect
how are
do they
go?
get?
Yeah, which way are they going to go?
Oh, obviously they're going to go El Toro. Come on now.
But how much?
I'll say 80%.
Ooh, all right.
Ooh.
A little less, but
Yeah, almost there.
It's not a bad split there for Portugal. And we talk about maybe the potential of an upset. The Netherlands identified themselves as underdogs, and they did quite well in their group.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think Portugal is on the same level as Netherlands. You do have, you know, a legend Jory is on that team, and Portugal, as the Chiefs had said earlier, you know, they don't have a lot of scale when it comes to that LAN experience.
But perhaps Chile could be what the Netherlands is. I think Chile is one of those teams where, you know, you're thinking, no, you know, if they play really well, they could make top 4. And that's kind of how we felt about the Netherlands. And they came out and ran the table for this first round of the round robin. So we'll see if Chile can really step up.
Yeah, if it comes to confidence, as you said before, they've got it in spades.
Or at least it seems like it.
Yeah, every time the camera pans over, they've got it. I don't know
The
what
aura's just there, right?
The aura's radiating.
It is.
Someone's making it up here. I could use some of that, guys.
I really think that's part of why everyone loves Raisebolt, because like he's not only like that sitting there in the chair, then you watch him play in game, you're like, dude, this guy is electric. I mean, he's one of my favorite players of all time.
Well, we're talking about USA and how great the attitudes are. Great attitudes there from the coaches to the players. Lots of smiling, lots of great communication. And that does go far in a competitive game like Rocket League.
Oh, yeah, and you see all that hype from Chile back there is coming from their coach, Groval. He's back there like, yeah, let's go. Come on, guys, let's do this. So, like, you're finding the aura. It usually comes in some type of supporting role. Yeah, sometimes the players go bring it out, but that's got to be, like, in the moment, hey, we're crushing them, let's do that. And it takes a concerted effort when we're outside of that immediate impact type of situation to keep a team amped up like that. And Portugal, I am fascinated to see what happens, because you talked about the potential for upsets. The upset here is a draw. That's the big upset. If you take anything here as Portugal, that's a huge win for you.
Yeah, goals indicator or potentially a draw would be huge for this team. And I wonder, we're talking a lot about these players learning each other over the course of the tournament. The coaches learning each other. Perhaps Portugal might be picking up something over the course of the day, seeing the other successful coaches. Anything here could change the vector of their trajectory. So, you know, Portugal, if they can get it together, what would that one element be?
Stop Raisebolt at all costs.
Okay.
Challenge him
You gotta
immediately.
put a lot in front of the
I don't
bull
care
in
if
the
you have
china
no
shop.
boost and you're like way far off. Just go. Get him.
Gotta take it off him. Can't let him do it to you.
Don't let El Toro do it to you again.
This is looking to be an incredible matchup. Portugal, Chile, starting off Group B. Both teams come with so much to offer, and both teams are looking to start things off on a win that might give them the momentum to make it all the way to the top of the group later on today. Let's send it down to the casters and find out how it goes.
It's the opening match of Group B. It's Portugal versus Chile. Chile coming into the group favourites in their opening match. Portugal with their first big international appearance. This is going to be huge for these young players.
Oh yeah, this is a really exciting opportunity, and of course this is just the start of Group B. They've been waiting all day for this, so you know that the energy is really high. Everybody's kind of just being let loose for the first time here.
Yeah, they've been waiting around, watching the action in Group A. Chile, of course, the favourites here. They're not favourites to qualify out of this group, but I think they're just on the other side of the line looking at USA, thinking, you know what? That spot would look pretty good in our hands, to be honest. So this is a must-win for Chile if they're going to make a push to make it into playoffs. They need to win this 2-0. As for Portugal, much like South Africa and Australia in Group A, they're just trying to get points on the board, trying to represent their nation.
100%. I think right now Portugal's focus needs to be draws, in Chile, like you said, getting as many 2-0 wins as you can possibly to just try and upset and sneak your way into that top 4. And right now, first minute of gameplay through, couple shots taken here and there, but both teams defensively standing tried and true. Although this one could center itself. It's a shot just above. No follow-up though.
Well, I like what I'm seeing from Portugal early though. This is good stuff from them. They're confident and they've almost scored again. This is very surprising to see. Chile, mainstay players in South American RLCS. Of course, you all know Raisebolt, but even Davitrox and Pan, these guys are always making top 8s in South American RLCS, an incredibly stacked region. And they're getting the game taken to them. It's beyond with the opening goal. And what a start the youngsters from Portugal are having.
This is just pure confidence, and this is exactly what they needed coming into something like this. Like you said, Chile pretty much having mainstay RLCS players. You can't wait till the end of the event to say, hey, we're going to come in just giving it all we got. Portugal coming in, swinging from the fences.
قفلوا كلهم، الشباب كلهم قفلوا. وجيه صرفكم يا رجال، صرفكم، انت صدقته. قفلوا وجيه ونورمال وروقان، ما بقي لنا. اقصد ساثيو منسحب عليه وراح الحين درب المغرب، الحين هو مدرب المغرب. طيب ابشر يا فيكتور بعد البث، لازم الان بعد البث. ازهلوني ازهلوني يا عيال، ازهلوني. صامل عشانكم. بس الصدق يا عيال الناس ما تهتم الا منتخبنا. كمل القصة جي 2. بس انه كانوا على اساس هم يمثلون امريكا. صارت الكثير من اللخبطة. اول شيء بيست مود الناس سمعت او انتشر خبر ان بيست مود ما بيلعب. فصار دانيال اتوميك واللاعب الثالث فيرس كيلر. قالوا بيست مود عشان ما يبغى يجي السعوديه مدري. بعدين هو غرد قال لا انا قاعد ابني بيتي. فجاه قلب الولد ستيف ماينكرافت. صار يبني معليش الذبه خايسه مره بس شفتها بتويتر. الزبده راح صدق قال انا قاعد ام بيلدينج ماي هوم مدري ايش. عذروا العالم انه مشغول في بناء بيته. تعرفون يعني الرجال مجمع له كم قرش ومشغول في حياته. ايش صار على منتخبنا؟ فامريكا هذا اللي صار اليوم. بعدين بعد ما انسحبوا كلهم فجأة كذا دانيال واتوميك وذولا انسحبوا. قالوا خلاص ما عاد بنمثل امريكا. وين يا ابوي؟ وين الناشوناليزم؟ وين الوطنية؟ وين السلامات؟ والله ما في زي منتخبنا وزي وطننا. لو مكلم سكب كان حضر يلعب مع المنتخب. من اجل رجع من الاعتزال. لكن امريكا ما في عندهم شعور الوطنيه غير موجود للاسف. خالد كان رجع. لا خالد الصدق بيسحب على المنتخب حتى لا كلم. كنت بقول خالد يرجع والله خالد هو بيست مود فرع السعوديه. والله يا اخوان السوالف صارت حلوه يوم طلعوا العيال. كان من اول صرفتهم يا شيخ. صوتي واضح صوتي واضح الحين. اول كان في صدى وازعاج والله. يا عيال وجيه يتكلم اغش من كلامه. يقول مثلا الحين المجموعات وهو يسوي الحركه معي. احيانا ما يركز في الجيم. والله ضياع. اسمع روقان بعيد يسولف وتسمعونه انتم عندي انا ما ادري ايش قاعد يقول. الجمهور للحين الصراحه قاعد يحرقون علي. يعني حاليا قاعد اسمع الجمهور يصفقون كذا. صدق البث رايق الحين. شيء غريب والله. والله الصدق تبون الصدق المفروض الفيفا سووا لكل ستريمر غرفه صغيره خاصه فيه. صاح الجمهور فاكيد جاء هدف بس ما ادري مين سجل وش السالفه. شكلها مباراة ثانية تصدقون؟ شكلهم يشوفون مباراة ثانية الجمهور. ولا هذه درالي. مرة متأخر البث. من وين نحجز التذاكر النهائي؟ الرابط اللي موجود على قناتي في اليوتيوب. في رابط في قناتي في اليوتيوب يا اخوان تلاقون الطريقة. ترى لي اسطوره والله. الجمهور ما في الا جهه واحده للاسف. ما في الا جهه واحده.
All about the favor.
اذا حجزت تعال هنا يعطونك باج انك ضيف زي هذا، بس يعني يشبه نفس الشكل يعني، بس مكتوب عليه جست انك انت ضيف. تجي تاخذ الباج وتدخل. شلون ساثيو أروي؟ لا ساثيو كلموه اول تكلمت في الموضوع ان غريب البطوله هذه كيف ان المنتخبات عادي اللاعبين لازم يكونون جنسيتهم من نفس المنتخب، لكن المدرب عادي. ساثيو ما هو مغربي، لكن كلموه تعاونوا معه بحيث يدرب المنتخب. يب توريهم الايميل انت اصلا ما يحتاج توريهم الايميل، هم عندهم انت مسجل، اذا سجلت هم عندهم. تبغون اوريكم مباراة فرنسا؟ هلا والله درالي. اوريكم فرنسا، خلينا نشوف فرنسا وين. فرنسا اي رابط. فرنسا يعني فرنسا ضد تركيا يا عيال، حرام عليكم تبغون تشوفونها؟ والله خايسة مرة. تلقى فرنسا داسين. فرنسا وتركيا اصلا الان بين الاقيام، انتهى الجيم الاول. الله يسعدك، شكرا انك فكيت لي ازمه. الله يعزك يا حبيبي، شكرا على ال 500 بتس.